I'm the CEO of OpenLedger. I am basically in this business since March 2014, having started with a Bitcoin exchange and now moved into more the idea of working with a decentralized exchange and creating business on top, involving crowdfunding aspects as a major part of this. Yes, I mean in general when I say, or when you say DEX in general, it means the decentralized exchange, and you could say that some people would say that the asset exchange or the Bitshares upon which OpenLedger is actually built on, that would be the DEX in general terms. But since we consider the DEX the foundation of all our activities, we simply added OpenLedger DEX as a defined part of that. And so the DEX is a decentralized exchange where you basically allowed to use all those financial instruments that are there, such as shorting, longing, selling, buying, trading, well, anything in there. For instance, when you say Okash, it is one of our upcoming projects that we will also be presenting on the DEX itself. It is quite important project of ours, as it will allow any future projects to actually take their funds that they hold on the exchange, channel it out to the real world, pay for their bills, go shopping, etc., using those funds on the account. Okash is it stands for the open cash, yeah, Open Ledger Cash. So everything, the idea, the objective in all of this is really to say all the cash, all the currencies, whether cryptocurrencies or assets which are backed by fiat, so to speak, any of these should be possible to cash out, and hence this definition Okash. You cash out with OpenLedger, powered by the DC, the decentralized conglomerate of ours. So Okash is simply, it's one of the projects. You could say it's a product where we involve the debit cards and Visa, MasterCard, etc. We have, of course, other projects coming up as well.
Can you explain?
Yes, so Okash is allowing you to cash out or even enter funds with it to the DEX. We have a freelancer platform coming up called eDev, E as in online, Dev as in developer. So the whole idea was to create a one platform for all freelancers, where they will be able to receive funds in a stable currency, stable coin, call it smart coins. And in this case, it is based on USD or US dollars. So everybody entering into the DEX allows, or is basically creating that contract with the developer on how much to pay, etc. They are parking that amount on the DEX in an escrow account based on multi-sig signers or signatories. So at the moment, the developer is done with his project and agreeing with the startup or the contractor that the work is finished. He is then able to have that amount, what can you say, paid out to him. And the beauty here is that you can bring in funds in crypto, whatever kinds, volatile in so many ways, and you actually park it as a smart coin, as a fixed value, so that you take the volatile and create a hedging to a value that is steady and stable to the developer. That is one of the beauties of it. The guy gets his smart coin, and he is actually able now to wire that funds directly to his bank account. So that smart coin enters into normal fiat automatically in our system, or he does it directly to the debit card, this OCash. Either way, he is able to cash out. Okay. You have the Get game also. Yeah. Brief part of this is allowing game developers to have an easy way of having their ideas crowdfunded through creating a profile, getting listed on the Get game platform, offering investors a token representing the value of what has been crowdfunded. The investors can trade it on the marketplace of Get game, and the developer can have those funds and use it for further development. A vital or important part of Get game is the hack ICO we are actually introducing as part of the Get game structure. It allows all people who have signed up and pledging 10% of their future revenues, it allows all of them to take part in a quarterly hackathon taking place in the major cities in all 6 continents of the world throughout the time, that is, of course. One city every 3 months. You create a hackathon. The winner receives a $50,000 award. 30,000 of that is tied into a certificate giving that the winner a possibility to get crowdfunded with OpenLedger. So we offer them a check to get crowdfunded. So this $50,000, you could say initially it has a $50,000 value, but essentially it might actually have worth millions. So the goal is here, we go out and not only sell 50,000, but we actually sell millions as the idea. The developer will also get a prize for himself of this. So the $50,000 is, yeah, it's worth gold. And I guess the last one that we have right now is the app trade, the Kickstart of apps. All of these that I mentioned right now will actually be initiated in terms of building the platforms here start of June, since we managed to get all of them funded in early bird offerings. So all 4 are funded sufficiently to actually start production, and it allows us actually to start planning ITOs for these 4 throughout the year. And I believe the first one is expected something like end of July, early August, and then you will see ITOs coming of these 4 basically every 4 weeks to 6 weeks after. So those 4 will run throughout the whole year from August. Furthermore, we of course have all these ICOs or projects from outside. So these 4 that I just mentioned are our own. We will not see so many in future of our own, or maybe we will. It depends really on the success. If they are big, and of course we are adding value every time we see something that can add value to the whole ecosystem, we of course want to do everything we can to have it channelized, let's say, into a future value for investors also. So we don't consider it, the importance of creating ITOs of own projects is not so much making money, but allowing investors and the community to enjoy the future revenues and growth that we will have actually based on those ITOs. So we feel that we may of course make money for ourselves, otherwise it wouldn't be worth it. That's where the innovation comes. Yeah, innovation as such is based on a profitable product. Otherwise you can't call it innovation. So all of these are considered profitable and in the end allowing value to anyone involved. Yes, I think that the one that we are working right now, that we are marketing or doing the marketing for, is called Internet of Coins. It is a unique product where the product allows you to swap the value from one exchange to another without leaving the decentralized space. So that in its own sense allows me to think that if I have a decentralized exchange of our own and I want to reach to Ethereum or any of the other asset exchanges out there, you are actually able, with this hybrid token that they are created, the hybrid blockchain also, you're able to move funds from one exchange to another in a decentralized fashion. It is another way, or it is in some ways, to make up for this side chain that we don't have yet connected to all the blockchains. This one, in so many ways, it's similar to the side chain idea, where you can move funds from one blockchain to another through the swapping style. We have 2 more projects that are imminent, but since we are still, what can you say, in the phase of preparing, I can't reveal those. I can of course reveal the CryptVisor that we launched 2 weeks ago. It's a German project where they actually offer the finished product, and what they're doing is they are doing the crowdfunding for the marketing of it. So it's a nice, it's another style of doing an ICO where you basically go in and say, I'm not crowdfunding for building the product, but I'm crowdfunding for scaling the product in terms of marketing. And I love both ways. And in the end, anything that I'm working with has a lot to do with scaling. So either we are scaling on the blockchain itself, or we are allowing the ecosystems and the businesses that we build, we are allowing them to scale with any kind of product that we introduce. So any kind of products that comes in, who also has that kind of belief in scaling, obviously it creates added value. And adding value is of course another important factor to anything anybody would want to do. Yes, I mean, joy is the token of this freelancer platform, eDev, as I mentioned. And the idea or the concept with joy, first of all, of course, is we found that name, Joy. I mean, joy to the world came from the song, yeah? And then, of course, you pay with joy. Whatever you do, you pay with joy. Accepting and everything is happening with joy. So it's a joyful world. Can you imagine all the slogans that we can start with that? Well, that allowed me to say, okay, how do we make sure that the reputation-based token of eDev, and that's very important to emphasize, that it's a reputation-based token. It means that we are creating, first of all, on the OpenLedger itself, we are creating a smart coin called Joy. We are furthermore creating similar tokens or similar Joy tokens on other exchanges. And when you combine the value of, or you combine the activities of each of those exchanges with each their own separate Joy token, putting those values together, taking the average, you actually have the value of that smart coin of Joy, listed on Bitshares itself. So you could actually say that on OpenLedger, you have a reputation-based smart coin pegged to the value of the Joy tokens of the whole ecosystem. You have furthermore the possibility of buying back and burning on those other exchanges. And with the smart coin on the OpenLedger itself, you are not able to as such buy back and burn because it's a smart coin, but you are able to use the revenues of the whole platform and share drop to the owners of the Bitshares platform. And they are actually called EDEV. So to summarize that, basically you have, with the Joy, you have a reputation-based token listed as a smart coin on OpenLedger Bitshares platform itself. You have Joy tokens on each of different exchanges. All of that together amounts to 100% of all tokens. You have so-called shareholders of the EDEV. You have them listed on the OpenLedger as EDEV in this form of token. So anyone holding the EDEV token on OpenLedger would actually, on a monthly basis, receive Joy smart coin. Yes, I mean basically the early bird goes as far as it covers actually these 3 days. Okay. Yeah. So it's a short, what can you say? Short notice, but it's simply because we want to get started with the different projects, and we still would like to offer any interested parties here to actually join and become a part of the community of OpenLedger. So we offer all investors any, what can you say, funds that they may decide to contribute with. We say basically every $1 spent adds a 50% added amount of bonus in tokens. So you enter $1 worth, you get 1.5 times any tokens we're talking. And we are talking all 4 projects that we're mentioning right now: OCash, GetGame, EDEV, and AppTrade. You may contribute, like I said, with you may contribute in it with BTC, Ethereum, Bitshares, BitUSD, almost whichever of those main currencies. And on top of this added 50%, you will actually also be able to get a special warrant that we created in connection with these projects. It's called obits.warrant. So this obits warrant is given as one warrant given for every $1 spent. It allows you anytime in 2017 to actually redeem this warrant into obits, which is the official currency of OpenLedger. It will allow you to redeem at the value or the price of 16 cents. So whatever the time of the year, the obits could maybe be $1 or $2, $5. Even now, you would be able to redeem 2 obits with a 16 cents value. And since the price of obits right now is around 70 cents, you could in fact actually sell the obits you got and make a whole, what is that, 54 cents profit, just like that. You could of course also decide to keep it and let it grow. What is happening here is that not only, as investor, you're not only getting all these profits from investing, but because of these funds that we receive, for every dollars that we receive, 10% of that is actually used to buy back and burn obits on the market. So when you are investing and getting obits warrants, potentially buying or redeeming to obits, you are in fact also supporting the growth of obits itself, allowing you even to raise your future value of obits. I mean, we buy back and burn with some of the funds you give, right? So in the end, the overall growth of obits may well be rising reducing supply, removing stock, it normally tends that you are actually increasing the price. Well, I think that that the strategy that we kind of bring forward, where we say we would like to take startups from start to finish, it is not only to make or to actually bring the startup a strong finish, so to speak, almost, but it's also in a way to keep a leash on the startup, or to actually follow it all the way, to make sure that the investors get what they actually paid for initially. There's been a lot, and there is a lot, of ICOs where you basically say, okay, here's the platform, come invest, you create an escrow for the amount, and once the ITO is done, you are actually paying out the funds from the escrow, and done deal. So it takes another half year maybe, for the platform to actually finalize. And in some cases, you are actually standing there with a risk. You are unable to do anything because your funds are locked. They are completely unavailable to you, and the platform may have come into difficulty, or the project may have come into difficulties. So suddenly you see your money potentially lost. What do you want to do? Well, some people actually has an interest to make sure that you can always exit. What we do is we try, based on milestones and escrows, etc., to ensure that all investors are feeling that their funds are safe. On top of that, we also allow them to exit if they want, throughout the time. This is why when we do our ITOs or ICOs on OpenLedger, we basically allow everybody to start trading the token in the second phase of the ITO. So from that time until launch of the project itself, you are actually always able to exit from your investment. And this is nobody else is offering that at all. I mean, I'm happy to say that we're the only one, but of course it all comes down to profits and who is going to profit and who is not. And the ideology of OpenLedger, and even myself, is that we all should profit. And how to do that is by offering a secure way from start, when the startup enters, until finish, when the product is launched, and making everybody happy. The startup, because they got funded enough to actually do their product. The investors, because they constantly can see the development, and we are sure to keep weekly updates. That is actually another part of our whole service, is to keep weekly updates on the project itself, so that all investors are always kept assured on or updated on what's happening.